All right.
What do we question first?
Rory's going to take all the hard-hitting questions, all right? Well, found a way to play better, much better in the second half, right? Obviously got to start a heck of a lot faster in the first half and play with much better discipline as we come out and do the basic things at a much higher level to start the game. But really proud of the resiliency of the club, the character of the club, and the way that they responded in the second half. Got to do a much better job with our discipline and limit the number of penalties. Obviously, that is unacceptable, but really happy to get the win. And obviously, you know, it's going to be a lot better to clean up a win than it is a messy loss. So we're happy to do that. But obviously, lots of room for improvement, lots of room to grow. But really proud of everyone in the program and the work that they've put in to get to this point and to be 1-0. And you know, need to take a big stride as we go forward into week 2, and obviously another tough home contest as we go forward.
Coach, congratulations on getting your first win as Aztecs head coach. You mentioned those penalties. Obviously, the roughing the passer that led to their touchdown, the taunting after the great play. I mean, is some of that just kind of the kids needing to learn how to win as a team? Because there's so many new parts and so many new pieces, and having to be able to kind of figure out what it looks like for them.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, it's an emotional game that needs to be played with emotion, but you can't play it emotional, right? And so, yeah, there's a process that goes into this, right? And there's a way in which that we're going to win, and you know, we can't have those mistakes, right? To where you have foolish penalties that extend drives, right? Things that happen pre or post snap, you know, are things that we talk about as our controllables that we do a much better job controlling, so that the Aztecs don't beat the Aztecs, right? And I think that was kind of the biggest difference between the two halves, was that in the first half, you know, tip of the cap to A&M-Commerce, right? They had a really good plan, right? But we need to respond better and execute at a higher level, so that, you know, we play within, you know, our makeup and the way that we're going to do things. And yeah, learning how to win consistently and how you go about your process each and every single day, that's a big piece of it.
Looks like in the first half, you're looking at Danny, calm down just a little bit. Was he adrenaline just kind of a problem for him?
No, I mean, you know, there was just a couple of those deep shots, right, to where, you know, I thought we had some matchup advantages that we give the quarterback and the receivers a chance to be on the same page there with all of it, you know, that, you know, we'd be in a good spot, and he settled into the game, right, to where, again, you know, it's his first start, obviously, with all of it, and again, the juices are flowing for everyone, right, so the speed at which the receivers are running is a little bit different than it is at practice, right, and, you know, so everyone had to settle in. It wasn't just Danny. I was kind of just talking, you know, to the whole offense as a whole, right, like, hey, like, no one needs to do anything more than what you're trained to do, you know, and do that at a really high level. And again, thought we did that, you know, much better in the second half.
42 points second half. When Marquez hit that, you kind of feel maybe the sideline loosening up a little bit, like we're back on track now? Yeah,
I mean, I think so, right? I mean, momentum's a very real thing, or at least I believe that it is, right? And so anytime that you can have and generate those explosive plays, you know, that's a big deal, right? And so, you know, we were able to generate some of those explosive plays, defense getting points, you know, accounting for 2 touchdowns in the second half is huge. So, yeah, once you get that on your side, right, then you got to kind of develop that instinct to have it and to keep it, right, and to be consistent throughout, so that momentum stays on your sideline and you can ride that, you know, to the finish line the right way.
Marquez passed 4,000 career rushing yards today.
Is that good?
Very good.
Okay.
45th player, I think, ever to do that.
Nice.
Obviously, you've seen a lot of those up close and personal.
Yeah.
He was just up here saying how he's been doubted his whole life, but he's here to prove people wrong. He thinks he could be the best back in the country. Like, what do you see from him that makes him so good at what he does?
I mean, his competitive spirit is second to none, right? The way that he works each and every single day. I mean, from the moment that he stepped foot on campus as an early enrollee in January of 2020, right? He's been mature beyond his years, and he loves the whole process. He loves the day in, day out grind, so to speak, of what it takes to be a guy that you can count on, that you can trust, you know, in between the white lines on a Saturday night. And, you know, I mean, shoot, the more touches he gets, the stronger he gets. He doesn't break down. And, you know, I'm glad he's on our team, right? I'm glad that he chose to come out west with us and to, you know, to be on this journey with us. He's going to make us better, right? And, yeah, he's a special player.
Are you more happy that you almost tripled their yardage output, or upset about the 16 penalties?
More about the penalties, I guess, than anything, if I have to choose one or the other, right? Again, those penalties, a lot of them are things that we can control, and those are things that we got to clean up, and, you know, we got to do a much better job in that area.
Coach, beyond just beyond the 2 scores defensively, you limit A&M-Commerce to 58 yards of total offense in the second half. Just speak to how that unit as a whole really locked in, dialed in, and took pretty much everything away.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they did a great job communicating. They were playing with great effort and running to the ball. You know, I thought we did a good job, affecting their quarterback and kind of getting him off of his rhythm and disrupting some of the timing with all of it. But again, it goes back to those basic fundamentals, those core tenets of, communicating, playing with great fundamentals, playing with relentless effort, having great focus. I thought we just did that at a higher level, right? And again, like there's a confidence to that unit. Coach Schmidt does a great job. Our leaders on the field do a great job, right? And again, we just got to play within the confines of who we are, within the calls that are made. And when we do that, we can execute at a high level consistently.
Momentum is obviously very important during games. How important is it on defense to have so many playmakers that can force those fumbles and shift that momentum and keep parts of the game?
It's huge, right? I mean, anytime that you can generate momentum by generating those turnovers, right? I mean, I think we did a study this past offseason where if you can win the turnover margin, right, even if it's just +1, I think your win rate goes up like 84% was the study that we looked into when we were looking at all of it, right? And so, at the end of the day, when you're on the plus side of that turnover margin because you got guys flying around and are opportunistic because they're playing with fanatical effort, right? They're impacting and affecting the quarterback, and then they're able to, get scoop and scores, and they're able to get pick sixes. I mean, that's a huge competitive advantage.
I mean, having Cooper, who has such a high workload, how can you kind of preserve him throughout the season?
Yeah, we just got to be smart, right? But I mean, he's a really good player, and he warrants the touches, right, as we go through it. So I'm not really smart, but I know that the good players need to touch the ball, so I'm probably going to give it to him a few times.
How was the in-helmet communication throughout the game? It was the first time you got to do it at a college level. How did that work out?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought there were some pretty critical situations where we were able to give good info. It's a sweet ringtone. Nice. But again, especially at the end of game situations there, right? No matter if it was Danny or if it was Javance, right? Just kind of managing the clock. And obviously there was one thing there at the end that I wish we would have done a better job so we wouldn't have to put our defense back out there and end the game the right way in that 4-minute situation. But again, we'll clean that up. But having that communication, having the tablets, is invaluable. It's really cool to be able to have those conversations to get immediate feedback, to get some things corrected. I thought one of those things in particular was the way our outside receivers blocked. Like on the opening play of the game, we didn't do a good job seeing an invert safety because it was a unique look, and Coach Sampson did a good job calling those outside wide receivers together. And then a lot of those explosive runs that, Coop hit was because our outside receivers did a great job digging out that invert safety that we missed on the very first play, right? And so that's a great job by the kids taking coaching. It's an unbelievable job by the staff seeing that and correcting that so that there can be that in-game adjustment. Hey, this point of emphasis is huge. We're going to come back to this. And we were able to generate quite a few explosive runs because of that and the way that the kids, took those coaching points throughout the course of the game. And it was because of, hey, the visual picture we're able to give them, right? So that was really neat.
Coach, how would you evaluate the offensive line performance to hold up and have to stay?
Yeah, I mean, nothing happens without them up front, right? So I thought they did a nice job, playing together, playing unified, especially with Joe going down and guys stepping up. It was a really, really good effort by their part, right? And again, lots to improve upon. But, anytime that you have a back that has the production that Coop had, it's because of the big boys up front.
Can you talk about how slow, obviously the first half was, what adjustments or changes shifted the momentum in the second half, and what was the team's attitude for the game?
Yeah, I mean, again, we came in here at halftime, and there's a lot of things that we had corrected on the boundary as well, leading into halftime within the first half, to where we was just, again, a lot of unforced errors, right? I mean, we had some drop passes, we had some alignment mistakes, we had some communication issues that, again, guys were just pressing, they were probably trying to do too much. A lot of guys getting their first starts, a lot of increased roles for a lot of new guys, right? And playing within the system and going through, a game for the very first time, right? So just getting guys to settle down, to play within themselves, to communicate better, not try to do too much, right? And then respond play after play after play with good discipline, right? And not, again, get emotional about things like, hey, whatever happens, good, bad, and, ugly. Like, quite honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, we got to get better on the very next play, and we got to refocus. So, hey, challenge, say, at the end of the day, like, what's the character of our club? What are we going to do right now, right? We're backed up. We got some adversity. How are we going to respond? And I thought the guys responded in a great way, and obviously led to a great second half. So maybe I need to rethink what my pregame speech is, because obviously that was really, really poor, right? And so that we can get off to a better start.
You guys said that at halftime, that's what it was. You just stay the course, get with your position coaches, keep on going with the process.
Yeah.
Is there ever a time where you need to peel the paint off the walls and give them a good tongue lashing?
I mean, it depends on the club, right? I mean, but this is our first time going through it together, right? And we talked about it as a staff that there's so many kids, again, with an increased role that are going through this for the very first time that we need to model the behavior, right? So I know our plan to win works, right? And so I'm steadfast in that belief that if we control the controllables, we do a great job running the ball, we kill the run, and we're more physical in the special teams units, right, that we're going to have a great chance to win. And like of those three things in our plan to win, we didn't control the controllables, we weren't running the ball great, we let the ball bleed through, and which led to a touchdown there, at the end of the first half, and we weren't the team that was establishing the tone when it came to special teams, right? So we were 0 for 3, right? And so again, like, hey, let's go back to what we know to be true and rework why aren't these things working, not obsess about the result and what's happening, but what's the process that leading to those things, and really hone in on that. And that's what our staff did, and that's, I think it's really important that we show these guys, right, like, hey, what it looks like, model that behavior, set the standard for what it is to have great competitive maturity, and the kids responded the right way. So kudos to them and their response. And if that's going to be, again, like we're learning about this club as we go, right, and each snap, each rep, there's something to behold. And, on a night like tonight, hey, it was ugly in the first half, right, but if our response can be that to adverse situations, we're going to have a chance as we go forward, with everything that we do. And obviously, we can't put ourselves in that sort of hole, right? But, we're going to have a chance if we can respond with discipline when adversity hits.
So what did you say at halftime that was so much better than pregame?
Again, just, hey, do the basic things at a high level, right? Like, don't be bored with the basics, and don't be bored with communicating. Don't be bored with being physical. Don't be bored with being, having great fundamentals as we go forward.
It's important to know that despite a rough early first half, you still managed to put up 45 points, and what the ceiling may look for the team's outlook.
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, a great team effort, in the second half with the defense getting points and obviously the offense generating some explosives and special teams, winning the field possession battle and everything. So, yeah, I think the ceiling of the club is pretty high, right? Got to watch a little bit more of the tape and take a deeper dive into all three phases as to how we can improve a lot, as we go forward. Because, again, this next opponent, not to look too fast ahead right here, just, minutes after we've won this one, right? But it's going to be a steep challenge, and another opportunity for us to, again, change our best and go forward and improve and compete each and every single day.
Did you get the game ball for your first win?
Yeah, JD, recognized me there, and I hate that it's about me and everything is about this club, right? Like the team, the 2024 Aztecs got their first win, and I happen to be the head coach, and I'm really humble and really proud to lead these guys, but the team got that win. I didn't make a single play, right? Like I just happened to put a blueprint in front of them that they believe in, that they're following, and I'm really, really proud to be their coach, and I need to do a better job of leading them so we can get off to a faster start and we can be in a better position to be successful early on. But it's cool to get the first win. It's great to be 1-0. And, there's going to be a nice victory cigar waiting back home, so I can soak this one up a little bit.
Well, where will that football go?
I've got to find a special spot for it. Not quite sure just yet.
We talked a lot about fast. So hopefully you guys get in training camp, get ready for this. I believe it was 78, 79 plays in 28 and a half minutes. Is that about where you want to be?
It was all right. I mean, there were some things that we did there at the end, what we needed to, right? At the end of the deal, at the end of the day, it was, the clock was the biggest opponent, right? And we wanted the biggest thing is being loyal to winning, not necessarily, a style of play. So, I thought there was moments and there was times where we were able to operate in tempo pretty smooth, right? But we can't let that be a detriment to who we are. That leads to mistakes at times. I thought some of the stuff in the first half, again, just maybe I was pushing on the gas a little bit too quick, right? And we weren't doing a great job communicating offensively, which led to some of those negative plays, right? So again, it's a fine balance, and that's really the art of coaching, right? To how fast do we push versus, how do we vary our pitches and utilize all the different tempos that we have at our disposal to create a competitive advantage so that ultimately the Aztecs win each and every single week out.
Coach, could you talk about Danny Neal, his whole game, and kind of your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, again, like great competitor, great poise, battled through some big shots, but kept us on schedule for the most part, right? And again, weathered the storm early, didn't press, valued the football, and again, did all the basic things at a pretty high level to give us a chance to win. So proud of his efforts, and, again, lots of that we'll clean up as we go forward. Some of those missed opportunities, some overthrows and everything. We'll assess why that happened, and, again, get him to settle in a little bit better, right? So we can maximize all that stuff. That's my job, and, Coach Johnson's job to help him and put him in a better spot. But all in all, right, like if we took the test, right, we passed the test, and away we go. We're 1-0.
And you said that, the scrimmages that he had compared to what he'd been doing in practice, was night and day. Do you feel like you saw that?
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job leading our club, right? And again, he managed the situation that, was a little bit rocky to start and settled in. And, there was a calmness and there was a collectiveness to him and a poise that, rippled through the offense and allowed the offense to work. And again, he'll continue to grow and he'll continue to mature. And, as much as he can carry, we'll put on his plate and, we'll ride with him.
Talk a little bit about Trey White. Obviously, he punches the ball out, at least the touchdown.
Yeah.
Got a screen outside of his own play, out of his area when he made it. What did you see from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's athletic, he's productive, and he's competitive, right? I mean, all the things that have led him to be one of our captains and, to lead us on the Warrior Walk today as we go, So, again, he's got a nose for the football. He plays with a relentless motor. He's got great energy that he brings each and every single day, right? Like the ball happens to find energy, and he brings great energy each and every single day and love what he, brings to the club and the leadership as he continues to grow and mature and refine his skills as he's learning how to play a new position. I think that production will go up as well.
You, in the old days, offensive linemen would move all over the place. You don't see it too much today. How hard is it for Christian Jones to be able to be the left guard? Joe goes out and then just to slide over and be able to do a good job there?
Yeah, I mean, across the board, right? If you got position versatility, especially up front, right, like you become really, really invaluable, right? And so I think that's one of the, unique things that Coach Schmidt's been able to do with a guy like Christian, right, is to dual train him, knowing that, there's some depth concerns at certain spots so that we can get the best five collectively on the field together. So with Joe going down, he's able to kick back out, Miles is able to come up, and we're able to put the best five that we have, available in our arsenal out there so that they can play together. So it's a tip of the cap to Coach Schmidt and obviously all the work that Christian has done. So it's a great asset to have, and obviously speaks to Christian's football IQ and his level of smarts to be able to know both inside and outside how both those worlds operate.
Last question for me. Why was it important for you to be surrounded by these beautiful people?
Because they've been on this journey with me, right? And all these memories that we get to share, they're here, they're beside me, and the beauty of it is they don't really quite care if Daddy wins or loses, right? They're here with me, and man, I mean that they're everything to me.
Anything else to coach?
You had a very unique advantage of Marquez Scuber's big run for the touchdown that seemed to kind of propel the scoring in the second half and the third quarter. What was your view of it from the field, and can you talk a little bit about the job the offensive line did?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line did a great job, but I thought Balin Brooks was really kind of the difference maker on that play, right? The O-line did a great job taking care of level 1, level 2, but their boundary safety spun down out of the clouds, and that was a very similar concept to the first play of the game that we missed on the opposite side, right? And again, that was a correction that the wide receiver room made that Coach Sampson did a great job identifying, and then Balin went in there courageously and got the job done, and it forced their boundary corner to tackle, which he chose not to do, and Coop was able to run through it, and away we go.
Marty Schottenhauer used to say you have a 24-hour rule. You can enjoy a win for 24 hours if you got to flush it and move on.
Yep.
Do you have something similar philosophy?
Yeah, absolutely. I told the boys, hey, we got 24 hours, celebrate the win, right? Like, make sure they got good, clean American fun, and then, again, we'll clean up the tape. There's lessons to learn, right? And then we'll talk constantly about, hey, it doesn't matter. We got to get better as we go forward, right? I mean, like, I think it's a great mindset to have no matter what happens, win, loss, you win or you learn, right? And it doesn't matter. We got to get better as we continue to move forward so that we're playing our best ball, as we move through this journey of this season.